Hi guys! Today I show you the way that I prepared this Dominican cake. Delicious, moist, but with something very special on the inside. If you like it and you want to know how I do it, come and hazlo con su. For this cake, we will be using a recipe of 1.5 pounds of Dominican cake. I already have a video of how I make it, and I will leave the link in the description box. We are going to use 1.5 pounds of butter that we're going to put it to mix at a speed 6, 1.5 pounds of sugar, 1.5 pounds of flour. I use 1 pound of all-purpose and a half pound cake flour, 3 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. This is what the butter looks like after 20 minutes of mixing. The eggs, we have 6 whole eggs, 12 egg yolks, and the whites we're going to reserve for the frosting. 12 ounces of liquid, I use 8 ounces of milk, 4 ounces of water, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of rum. And here's the butter after 40 minutes of mixing. Then we're going to add the sugar in 2 portions. At this point, we're going to add the orange zest and we're going to prepare the pans. Then we're going to add the eggs, and after we're going to add the flour in combination with the liquid. This is how our batter will look like, and we're going to divide it in 3 parts, 2 of which will weigh 2 pounds 4 ounces. The remaining portion of the batter will be white. The mixture has a yellowish color from the butter, so adding the white color will lighten it a little bit because the center should be as white as possible. The other 2 portions we're going to color blue and red. For the blue, I use royal blue. And when we're coloring, we're going to do a folding motion, not to remove the volume that we have obtained. And for the red, I use super red. Now we have the cake batter colored and ready. Now we are going to fill the cake pans. For the blue and red batter, we're going to use 10 by 2 pans each. For the white batter, a 10 by 2 pan that we will add 1 pound 12 ounces of butter, and another 2 pans that are going to be 8 by 2 with 1 pound of butter each. And the cake pans are ready to go in the oven, and we're going to bake at 325 for 40 to 45 minutes. The pans with the white batter will be taken out after 40 minutes because they had less batter than the red and blue pans. These ones I left them in the oven for 5 more minutes. Once I take them out, I let it sit for 5 minutes, then I unmold and let it rest for 30 minutes. Remember, as always, that the list of ingredients and quantities will be listed in the description box, as well as the materials that I used. I will also leave you with a link of how I prepared the Dominican cake, which will give you more details of the steps for a moist, delicious, and consistent batter for your cakes. Let's start assembling. We are going to take the 2 cakes that are 8 inches, and we're going to level the cakes so they will be the same height. We are going to use a cake cutter or a big serrated knife. We are going to remove the top layer as thin as we can, and also take under consideration that the other cakes will be of the same size. That is the 2 8 inches and the red and blue cakes. Then we are going to cut the 2 8 inches cakes twice, one with a 6-inch cutter and the other with the 4-inch cutter, as I show you here in the video. Try to center them as much as you can, and if you have a ruler, it will be easier for you to make sure that all the sides are equal. Now we are going to cut the red and the blue cakes. As I said, with the cake slicer, we're going to remove the top part that is the same level as the other 8-inch cakes. So we can help lift the cake. We're going to use a cake lifter or a big spatula. With the same 6 and 4-inch cutters, we will do the same thing. We're going to be making the cut as center as possible with the 6-inch cutter, and then another one inside of this with the 4-inch cutter, and we're going to separate them as careful as possible to avoid breaking the layers. We are basically going to be left with the target symbol. We will do the same process, but now with the blue cake. And don't worry about the pieces that you're going to have left over. We can put all of them together and make an 8-inch cake, as you can see here in this image. Now we will adjust the size of the cake slicer because we must cut the 10-inch white layer cake. This one should be shorter, about half the size in height of the other cake layers, and it should also be completely white, so we are slicing the top and the bottom of this layer. The 4-inch pieces of the red and blue cake, we're going to add a very thin layer of frosting so that it sticks better once we insert it into the white layer cakes that we cut as I show you here in the video. Then the larger blue and red circles, we're going to add also a thin layer of frosting on the inside so that the other layers will stick once we put them all together. Here we're just going to invert the colors. The blue circle will insert the piece with the red center, and the red circle the one with the blue center. Totally optional, but to me Dominican cake does not taste the same if it does not have any filling. So we're going to add a very thin layer of pineapple jam. So once we put the layers together, the jam is almost not noticeable, but the flavor will be there. Now we're going to add another thin layer but of frosting. This will make the cake layers stick a little better when putting the cake together. On top of these, we're going to add the white layer cake and add another thin layer of frosting. And after we finish this, we're going to put the last layer of the cake, and then we are going to have our cake completed, basically assembled. I did not put the decorative plate at the beginning, but you will take your plate and you will place the cake layer with the red outside with the blue center at the bottom, and the layer with the blue outside with the red center up top, so you could have your flag perfectly once you cut a slice of the cake. For better stability, I put a straw in the center to prevent it from moving, and we are going to add the frosting to the cake. Again, I have a recipe of the frosting and how I decorate the cake in a simple way, and I will leave the link in the description box. Here I am making some simple borders and I like forming a cross. The decoration, it depends a lot on your preference. I just let my imagination run wild. I basically wanted to make a flag, so I'm making like a cross. And basically here I noticed that one of the sides was crooked, so I remove it, but also I changed the direction of the border, and this just looked better to me. And then I make a border all around the edges. I'm only giving you an idea of what you can do, but you can decorate it as you please. Here we will color two small parts of frosting, one blue and the other red, adding color in a folding motion, not to take away the volume of the frosting. You add the gel until you reach the desired color. But keep in mind that you cannot add too much because these colors make the frosting bitter. Then we're going to fill our piping bags. And you got it, we're going to make a Dominican flag also in the outside of the cake. I'm using a Wilton tip number 21. We're going to put the same colors on the parallel sides. So I start with the red side as well as the opposite of these as well, as you can see here in the video. Then the other two sides, we're going to add the color blue, and we're going to do the same. And we're going to add a border to the bottom of the cake plate. Just to make it look a little bit better, I'm using a few blue and red chocolate balls, and in the center I'm using a little bit of red, blue and white sprinkles, basically just symbolizing the escudo. And as well to the bottom borders, I'm just going to add a little bit of sprinkles just so it could give it a little bit of life. After so much baking and decorating, we are totally eager to see how this cake looks on the inside. We're going to cut this piece. I'm so anxious! Oh my God, look at this beautiful flag. Wow, look at this beauty. The Dominican flag. Gorgeous. This is the second time that I make this flag cake, and the feeling of accomplishment that I have, the pride of being Dominican, words cannot describe it. I feel so proud. If you prepared this cake, please let me know how it came out in the comments. Also share your pictures on my social media. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it. If you have not done so, subscribe to my channel and activate the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Also follow me on all my social media at Hazlo con Su. Now you know how I do it. Bye!